Hey crew, welcome to episode 9. We've been doing this for a few weeks now. It's pretty exciting. We're having a good time still producing videos, but this week, everything caught up with us all at once. In case you didn't know, every week we film and produce a video to share with you what's going on during that week. We are pretty much real time, so you're not very far behind what's actually happening to us. As you can see, I'm alone. I'm not really alone. Jerry's behind the camera. During this video, though, you're going to see a lot of Shawn, not a lot of Jerry. She'll make a cameo or two, but that's really about it. This video is really about doing some maintenance on the davits that hold up our dinghy, and you're going to see me doing work and hanging from ropes and trying not to fall in the water or drop too many things in the water. You'll also see me not talking very much. I talk some at different times, but most of the time I'm focused on doing the work that I'm doing. I'm really not able to talk and do at the same time. People call it multitasking or time slicing. I call it impossible. It's a superpower I don't have. What it does mean is that when I'm doing a thing, I'm very much focused on it. The work that we're doing has been slowed down a little bit by a couple things. We don't have a dinghy right now. It's being repaired. And there was a major holiday this week. So a lot of shops were closed and we couldn't get the supplies we needed to do different projects. As always, we hope you enjoy watching our videos and coming along for our journey. If you do, like and subscribe. Let some other folks know that you're having a good time. Maybe YouTube will let somebody know this is something they should watch. Next week, we'll be back with another episode and hopefully another project completion. Take care. See you next time. Today is Guatemala's 200th anniversary of their independence from Spain. And they are celebrating today, which means there's no shopping. There's no going to town really except to party and have a great time, which sounds like a lot of fun. For us, that means that we're going to start some additional maintenance that we haven't done yet. Our davits, supporting our dinghy while we're traveling, while we're at rest, wherever, have some moving parts that need to be touched. We've got a couple of blocks mounted in there. We've got a clutch on each one. And we've got some lines here that definitely need to be soaked and cleaned up, get the salt out of them and make them soft again. These tensioning lines too, they're Dyneema, but they shouldn't be this loose. Once we put weight on the davits, they get tight, but we want to start with them tight. So we're going to get into this and see what kind of maintenance we can get done and get this thing back in shape. First thing we have to do is make some space to get around the back area. This ladder is our swim ladder. It doesn't actually start here. We mount it on the swim step. So I'm going to take this off of here to make some room. We get these lines out of these blocks and out of that clutch so we can get into maintenance. So we got to get this untied from out here. And this is a huge pet peeve of mine. Slip knots in places where they're going to take a massive load and that are difficult to get to and not maintained. So this thing, I might end up having to cut it because it's so stiff. I can't untie it. It's like a freaking rock. So I'm going to try some water first, see if I can get it soaked and get it loosened up. Sometimes water will help that a bit. But I honestly don't know what I'm going to get out of this.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Yeah, honestly, it's a rock. I can't take the line off. I think we're going to see if we can hang a bucket from the end and soak the line out at the end of the davit so we don't have to cut it. I probably have a replacement for these, but they're not in bad shape overall. They're just really stiff and dirty. So maybe we can do it this way and not end up taking it. We have normal fabric softener. We're not sponsored today, so we're not showing the label. Maybe some fabric softener wants to sponsor our videos. Yeah, joking. It's just basic fabric softener. We're gonna put a little bit in the bucket, swish it around and let it soak. And with some small amount of luck, maybe a lot of luck, it'll get the softer rope out of this. these look to me just like a mast block, something that would be cut into the mast to support lines going up and down the mast. Even though it's on a davit, it's got 2 stainless steel bolts that are holding it in place into an aluminum body. So I have some concern about corrosion, but we're gonna put the wrench on it and see if we can get these out. That turned pretty easily. That's encouraging. Can you get 2 of those? I do. That makes me really happy. I was concerned there would have been no anti-seize on the end of these bolts, and that I would have ended up with some need for penetrating oil to break things loose. As it turns out, no, these got good anti-seize on them. I'm leaving the mounting line attached, so if I drop this, it doesn't actually go anywhere. That came out nice and easy. Next up, we'll see if we can get these spin lock little clutches out. Awesome. And that, friends, is the risk. I don't know where we're going to find another one of those, but I'll be searching. The support lines are next. Got to untie the knot out at the end. Our lines have been soaking for an hour almost, so we'll empty them out, get them rinsed, and see how they look.
Who's that?
I'm not sure. We just peeled something off. Every boat project turns into more boat projects as you go. Probably heard us say this. So this is a little piece of wood that is under our stern light mount. Why is there a piece of wood under the stern light mounted to this aluminum? I have no idea, but it's another project that'll be coming off and the light gets replaced anyway. But one more thing. A lot of what you see, this cloudy, nasty looking water, that is fabric softener. So it's not as icky as it looks, but some of it's what came out of the lines. So I'm just gonna sit here and massage this a little bit before I rinse them and throw it out and see if I can get, some of that fabric softener into the rope. Because it's better, but it's still pretty stiff. As you can see, we have no dinghy at the moment. It's over with Hugo, the dinghy doctor, getting some repairs done, which means we have no platform to stand under these davits and find a way to remove that block reasonably. So I'm gonna have to do some rigging. All right, great news.
Done?
Yeah. Dish soap in the bucket and get some water in the bucket and See if we can get them cleanish. Jerry's getting surfaces clean so we can start putting things back together here pretty soon. We had to take the night off because bugs. Sun goes down, bugs come out, we go inside and hide. That dengue fever thing is definitely real. We'll get some of these parts cleaned up so we can get it back together. These sheaves are a little dirty, but they're grooved. They shouldn't have any petroleum grease. A lot of these plastic materials will absorb petroleum and swell, which would cause them to not spin freely on their shaft. These are all a little bit worn. You can see there's a bit of play in here, but I think it's probably fine for a good while yet. So we'll clean them up, make sure there's no grease or oil on them, give them some silicone, and then start the reassembly. Alright, axles. They don't need much. Just give them a light touch with this red Scotch-Brite. We'll do a little test fitting and see how these guys come together. If they seem loose, or like I might lose an axle if I don't have it taped in. But looking at it, I don't think we can, because the aluminum is going to come back to here on the davit, and that's going to prevent these shafts from moving at all. So I don't think they need to have any tape on them to hold them in place. I think they're fine. That's a reasonably good fit. Uno más. All right, none of these are great, but they will all work. So I will pop them. We'll add some super lube so they don't squeal or wear inappropriately. I don't worry too much about making this perfect, because it's going to go in, everything's going to swirl around, and it's going to get spread around the way it needs to with use. These look quite good, so I think that all they're going to get is a little bit of that dry silicone lube in the parts that are moving, not down on the teeth, and we should be good to go. These guys don't actually call for any lube, so I'm going to leave them alone. We got these snap shackles cleaned and lubricated and reassembled already, so they're good to go. So it's now it's back out to the davits and put this thing together. With some small amount of luck, this will go smoothly and I won't lose anything overboard. See if I can not lose this screw. Now we've got the easy part done for the reassembly. Now we get to do some swinging around like a monkey. Jerry will have to winch me, then we'll get the last bits on. I love putting stuff back together after we've cleaned it, inspected it, and made repairs. New block with a swivel snap shackle on it. It's not a new block, it's a new used block. It's another block. We've got lots of blocks, so this is easy repair. That one's not going to go quite as easily. So I'm going to put a little tape on it to help me through. I guess I got a little bit too much into that. This pad eye on top of the davit is the last thing we're working on the maintenance of the davits. This is an anchor and provides a link up to the coach roof. Underneath of the solar panels, where there is a mount that's actually not under the panels, but it's on the other side of them. As you can see, This little metal tab just has a single bolt. It's really not a very good mount. For right now, I'm probably gonna hook this back up and tighten it down with a trucker's hitch to do the best we can and get us to Florida where we have more supplies.
There is a life I lead in this city, hurrying to cut my teeth. I can take